Today I would like to take a look at another play from the later part of 133. It is the play with an obsessio that is very rare and very good. It is this one. And this play is interesting not only because of this very rare and very good obsessio, but also because this is one of the very few plays from 133 that talks about the footwork. And out of these very few plays, this one is the most specific with the footwork. So maybe it will tell us something interesting. But at first, what do I think this play is about? Well, first there is this obsessio. In my interpretation, the core of my interpretation is that custodia is a position and obsessio is an action. So obsessio is something that you do, it is something, some move and not a position. So what do I think this looks like? I believe this obsessio starts in prima custodia, or maybe pre-special long point, it would also work, but let's say prima custodia. And this obsessio is starting, well, is about hitting the shield forward, like this. You firmly strike your shield against the shield of the opponent. This, I believe, is the obsessio that we are talking about. This very good and very rare and very good obsessio. Why would you do this shield strike against the shield of the opponent? Well, there are two reasons for it. First is that you want to occupy the shield hand of the opponent. If you are striking firmly against the shield of the opponent, he will have to resist it, and he won't be able to use the shield for something else. And because the follow-up of my strike will be some thrusting under the shield, I want to prevent the opponent from using his shield to defend my sword. So by striking his shield, I am occupying his shield hand so that he won't be able to use it after I strike under the shield. The second reason is that the opponent here stands in quinta custodia. Quinta custodia, this one, in 133, is always connected to in-tempo counterattacks. In every play where quinta custodia is being attacked, it responds with a counterattack. Usually, well, there are two options, either this counter thrust, like this, or a counter half shield, like this. These are two options, and every time in 133 the quinta custodia is attacked, it responds with a counterattack like this in-tempo counterattack. And so if the opponent stands in quinta custodia, I want to somehow deal with the counterattack that will be probably coming. And in the previous video I have said that the way how you deal with in-tempo counterattacks is that you try to trigger the counterattack of the defender while keeping an option for defense for yourself. So you might use this shield strike against quinta custodia to trigger the counterattack of the opponent while keeping your sword able to do something. So this obsessio, very rare and very good, is about striking the opponent's shield like this. And the play expects that the opponent will react like this. Now, what will happen next? So, now I have hit the shield of my opponent and the opponent is doing a counter thrust. What will I do with this? Well, 133 tells me to do a thrust of my own against the thrust of the opponent. And I am told to continue the thrust to the very end and don't flinch, because my thrust will be more powerful than the thrust of the opponent. This reminds me of Fiore dei Liberi, fencing master from later parts of the 14th century, who in his fencing manual talks about something that is called exchange of thrusts. The idea is that, we'll show it just with a sword. The opponent is going to thrust me. Against his thrust, I am going to do a thrust of my own. And what I will do is a thrust that goes in a more favorable angle. So if we are both doing our thrust, I will hit, but I will also at the same time lead the opponent's thrust away. So the idea is that we are thrusting against each other, but only I will hit because I have a better angle. And what I believe this play from 133 may be doing something very similar under our shields. So if we go back to prima against quinta, I will strike the shield here. The opponent is going for a thrust and I am going for a counter thrust like this, and I will hit. And at the same time I will defend. So this is what the long text at the first image of this play might be telling us. So this is how it could go according to the text at the first image of the play, but the play has 3 images, and the third image of this play is showing something different, something that looks like a Stichslack, like this, and the text is telling us that this is how we defeat the counter thrust of the defender. So maybe this third image is probably telling us about a different way how to deal with the counter thrust of the opponent. So from the text of the first image, it seems that we would employ some mechanism similar to the Fiore's exchange of thrusts, but from the third image of the play, it seems that we should do something like deflection with the shield and Stichslack. According to the third image of the play, the defense would go like this. Again, I will start with my shield strike. The opponent is going for a counter thrust, and now I will use my shield to beat the sword away while doing a Stichslack like this. So the idea again, it is like strike, deflect, and hit. I have tried it, and it is possible to do if you concentrate for during the whole time on your shield. So you don't think about your sword, just on your shield, and you think about this: hit and deflect, and then only then the sword goes there. In fact, both options are possible, and both can be done, and both will work. I don't know if the priest wants to give us 2 options, or in fact he, in the first text of the first image, he is trying to describe exactly what the third image is showing. I don't know, but certainly both ways are possible. To complete the whole play, in fact, the opponent, the defender, the one who stands in quinta custodia, can do a different counter-attack, and it will be a half shield, in-tempo counter-attack with half shield. And the text of the first play is telling us how to deal with it. Generally, instead of going for this exchange of thrusts or displacing his blade with a shield, we should do falling under. So it would look like this. So this is the play. Now what about the footwork? Well, this play is interesting because it tells us that after doing the obsessio, while doing this counter thrust, exchange of thrusts, or this Stichslack, Stichslack, whatever, together with this thrust, we should step forward with the left foot, which is quite interesting because, well, generally the plays in 133 don't talk about footwork at all, but if they do, which is only very few plays do this, if they do, they are not talking about which foot should go where. It is just together with the rebind do a step or something like that. And this play is very specific that it should be left foot that goes forward. Why is it so? Well, I believe this is because it is not important to just go forward, but you should also step to the left. I believe what they are telling us is that we should step forward and to the side together with the Stichslack. So after the shield strike, we should do something like this. Diagonal step to the side and forward. And we should step diagonally to the left, and that is why the play is telling us that we should step with the left foot. Of course, I don't know if it is so, but it makes sense because I have already noticed that every time you do something like Stichslack, it works better if you step to the side. You are getting better angles and you are getting and it is easier to take the openings of the opponent if you step to the side. So I believe this stepping forward with the left leg, left foot, in fact means step diagonally to the left, like this. The play is giving us another option, and that is step back with the right foot, which could mean stepping something like this to the right, but that wouldn't be consistent and generally it wouldn't make sense. So I believe what they are talking about is it is the situation when the opponent is pushing forward. So I can't go forward too because we would hit each other like body on body. So we don't want that. But we might do a step back with the right foot, but it would be a step like this. So again, we would step to the left side, but with the back foot, or generally right foot. I don't know if this is correct, but it makes more sense because it brings you to the same angle. It is the same thing if you do this and if you do this. You are getting at the opponent from the same angle. So I believe this is what the footwork is about. And if you want to generalize a bit, we might think that this display is a proof that anytime you do Stichslack or something similar to Stichslack, you should step to the side because this play is using it, and maybe the other plays will do it, use it too. I'm not sure about it. It is, of course, there is no proof for that, but I have to say it would make sense because I am doing this myself just naturally. Because if you are doing something like Stichslack, this step to the side is very, very natural and gives you much better position. So I think we can take this play as at least a hint that the priest would like to do the same thing. So this is the play of very rare and very good obsessio.